Hey there, this is going to be a very quick instruction for lab number 2 because it's a short lab. However, the bad news is that you have 2 labs due the week that this lab is due. So this lab is due on a Monday, and then you have another lab due on Friday of the same week. And it's not lab 3, it's lab 5. I'm skipping around a little bit. So just a heads up that you will be having 2 labs due in a week, which is going to happen often in this class, and this is one example. So just to get started, I wanted to say something about the difference between relative and absolute age, because I know you looked at some geologic time discussions, and I didn't really touch on this topic. So relative age in geology is assigning an order to various events. Certain things happen earlier than others, or certain things happen later than others. For example, I could tell you that I'm older than my brother, but younger than my sister. And so you would know the order of our ages. By assigning numerical values, you get an exact number of when things happen, an exact date. So if I said, I'm a year older than my brother and 2.5 years younger than my sister, and I'm 20 years old, which of course I'm not, then you would know exactly the absolute ages of each of us. Another example is shown here. In the column on the left, you have the relative age of various wars, and the most recent war in this list is at the top and the oldest one is at the bottom, but you don't have any idea when they occurred or how much time there was between these various wars. You just know that relatively speaking, the oldest are on the bottom, and as you go up, you get to more and more recent wars. On the right, you can see that there have been numerical ages assigned to these, and so you can see exactly when they occurred and how much time there was between various ones, and you can even see how long each of these wars lasted. So that's just an example of relative versus absolute age. Now, getting to your lab. Well, first of all, I'd like you to make sure it starts on page 9 that you read the introduction and the objectives, but we're not actually going to do part 1 of the lab because part 1 involves you getting into groups with your fellow classmates and getting big giant pieces of adding machine tape and using meter sticks to make a gigantic timeline and put all kinds of information on that timeline to represent geologic events in Earth's history. And it's a pretty decent activity, but not if you have to do it by yourself at home. In fact, I don't really see how you could do it at home. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to go right to part 2. But there's still good information to read, and you could read through some of this. So part 2, again, there's some information here that gets you started, and this is really just using the internet. If I go to the next page, I've circled in this little colorful pen 3 different websites, and I tested them. They all work. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to the website, and you're going to either read or you're going to watch a video, and you're going to determine the answers to these questions. So that's it. It's pretty short. It's just these 2 pages. There's also on the last page another version of the geologic timescale, which gives a little more information about life forms than what I've gone over in the past. And also this one has North American geologic events that we haven't talked about yet, but we will as we get further along in the semester. So that's it for lab number 2. I think it's pretty straightforward. Remember, there's an open discussion for each lab, so you can ask questions to your classmates, and if somebody sees that question, they can respond, and I will check it as well. And then remember that my office hours now are accessed at the very top of the modules page under this office hours Zoom links, because I have different Zoom links for each day of the week because the office hours are at different times, and that's just the way Zoom works. I haven't quite figured out Confer Zoom yet. If I do, I'll return to it. But for now, you can find all the links you need right there. And every Tuesday for 1 hour, I am sitting at the computer with live chat going, so you can take advantage of that hour, Tuesdays 1 to 2, and type in a question, and I can respond right away. Okay, that's it.